Hello, wealthy, healthy, and on purpose. I am Unstoppable Tracy, the no excuses millionaire coach. The only thing stopping you from being a millionaire is you. And many of you are interested in being coaches and transitioning into the coaching world. So today I focus on transitioning into the coaching world. So here we grow together instead of here we go. There's nothing in the world that is more meaningful to me when someone reaches out and says, "Thank you so much, Tracy. Your coaching and your speaking inspired me to take action and to have no more excuses," which resulted in payoffs, more clients, more money, more happiness, letting go of old stories that were really burdening their mindset. All of that is incredible reward as a coach. And some of you may know this, and some of you may be looking forward to that first person to tell you, "Thank you so much for inspiring me to take action." And there's a little bit of a difference between coaching and consulting that's worth knowing. Coaching is in the small businesses, for example. And, there's a lot of skeptics out there about coaching. Does it really work? And, I know as an athlete in a high performance world that coaching definitely works. You see a Michael Phelps athlete thanking his mom, but also thanking his coach. And you also see CEOs, top CEOs and businesses, they have coaches. Anyone that's a millionaire has multiple coaches, is what I've learned with Hilton and with George Ross and with all of these. Branson has coaches, JT Fox has coaches. All of these folks have coaches. They walk the talk. And so coaching is small businesses and the individual, whereas consulting is like the McKinsey firm or the Boston firm or the Accenture firm, or at Air Canada or Shoppers Drug Mart. In some of my Canadian clients, Uber. This is where there's consulting CNE. And this is consulting. And that's the difference between coaching small and consulting a corporation. And I highly recommend that you have complete and distinct brands when you're coaching individuals and small businesses versus a consulting firm. For example, I wouldn't call it Unstoppable Coaching and Unstoppable Consulting and Unstoppable You for my speaking stage. It's 3 distinct brands to not overlap so that they're not mixed up. And the other piece is, what is coaching? Why do coaching? Coaching is that shortcut. It's kind of like, I love the new Waze app because it knows where traffic is and it's current time, because everybody who's on Waze is also reporting their speed and their stopping and their roadblocks, no pun intended, or full pun intended, and they get to know the fastest way that's directly to where they're going. It doesn't mean you can't find your way there on your own, but you're going to have a few left turns that were unintended. Coaching helps you see that and gets insight like the Waze app and gets you there more directly and more efficiently. And so a wise man learns from their mistakes. A genius learns from the mistakes of others. And so right now you're transitioning into coaching, potentially, or you're in coaching and you're already thriving and just wanting to be exponential about it. And so all of the tasks and your areas of focus for your coaching has the greatest impact on you, as well as your employees or your clients or the businesses you're serving. And so this transition into coaching isn't always easy. And sometimes you find yourself, I certainly did, out of balance in this role. And you're not alone. I'd be happy to support you. Wealthy, Healthy, and On Purpose would be happy to support you. Synergy would be happy to support you. Unstoppable Tracy would be happy to support you. You're not alone. And it's kind of like those juggling circus trapeze acts. They're on this tight wire. So one, you're balancing on the tight wire and you're juggling all these balls. And now you're coaching others. So now you're out there on the tightrope along with others that are learning to juggle their balls. And while they're on the tightrope with you, they're dropping balls and wiggling your tightrope, and you're both up there together. And so it's pretty out of balance, scary when you're taking it all on. It's almost like supervising others. But the real trick is getting them to take action on their own. So this is why I liken it to a little bit of a circus act, really. And so it's like a circus act in so many ways. Like it's also all of those challenges in coaching. So more specifically, it can be difficult balancing the expectations of others, of other employees, of other businesses, of your clients and customers that you're coaching. You yourself, as a coach and as a supervisor maybe, you have to juggle multiple priorities now, yours and theirs. You're also having to figure out your current workload while taking on more business growth, more customers, more coaching time slots. And as a coach, you also feel like there's this whole crowd of people watching you. There's the individual watching you. There might be the company that hired you. It might even be online, watching to see if you can keep your balance. You might feel a little bit like the acrobat sweating to keep your balance and juggle all these priorities. And so, how do you do this? There's 3 tips to manage your transition into that coaching role and to outline what are the actions to establish credibility for you as a coach. And you want to address some strategies to tap into the commitment of others. That's what's in it for you. And you want to create a clear connection between, if it's a corporation, their department and their organizational goals, or if it's an individual or a small business owner, what's the connection that increases commitment for them to take action? Because if they're not taking action, all you're leaving them with is inspiration. You know, you're giving them belief, you're giving them intent, but without action, there's no results, there's no success. And so how do you create that commitment from the people you're coaching so that you look good as a coach as well? And then you plan that conversation to build that constructive relationship with your coach. That's right, with your coach. How can you be a coach and you don't even have a coach? How do you instill belief in coaching if you yourself are not paying for coaching? You need to have a coach to coach you on your journey too. This is hugely important. Who's your compass? Who's your GPS? Who's your ways finder? And so the circus performer almost seems easy, really. They learn juggling and balancing on a tightrope. And the transition is a little longer and slower than learning to juggle balls, even though it's likened to it. And so what you're doing is your 3 things: establishing personal credibility in your transition. You're learning how to be really powerful and getting work group commitment or individual commitment on the actions that come out of those coaching calls. And also gaining the support you need as a coach to succeed, to support you, to coach you in engaging others and engaging your priorities and figuring out your expectations to determine best how to work with others when you're coaching them. So when you're establishing personal credibility, think of the words that come to mind. You know, trustworthy, influential, reliable, respected. These are the words that come to mind. So this is how you attain personal credibility, is through the words trustworthy, influential, reliable, respected. Use those words in your posts, in your conversations. And actions. Do you follow through on the time and place that you agreed to meet and on the deliverables? And this will influence your personal credibility with your overall leadership style. And then activate the work group if it's a corporation commitment or the individual entrepreneur commitment. You help employees, individuals, small business owners, your friends, your peers, the people you're coaching, to learn about what is their priorities. And you tie that connection with their day-to-day activities to their goals. What's their long-term goal? I was coaching a person who was doing 3 calls a day, and it was really impressive, juggling a full-time job and a family. And I'm like, wow, that's great, 3 calls a day. But the reality is, if there's 10-20% conversion and you're trying to bring in more clients, then if you phone 100 people a day, that's 10 more clients a day. And I asked, what are the big winners doing in your circle? And they were phoning 100 a day. Like, so what do you want to commit to? And it wasn't 100 a day because it didn't feel real at first. So it was 10, and then it was 20. But ultimately, by the end of our 6 months together, it was actually 3 months that they committed to this faster than they ever believed possible. They were committing to 100 a day confidently, and they did it. And they called 100 people a day. And so I got her to commit to her day-to-day activities and what it would take and where she could juggle 100 calls a day. And it was just continuously, slowly, at a speed that they were willing to, pushing the envelope out of the comfort zone, day-to-day activities as they tied to her ultimate goal, which was being an area manager, which meant having this many folks under her in her network marketing world of Airbon was her piece. And for others, it might be isogenics. How do you drive those big results? And so the last piece, personal credibility, work commitment from the person you're coaching, and then your coach as a partner, your coach managing your priorities, managing your expectations, and driving your results. To be a coach, you got to have a coach. It's a no-brainer. Thank you, Wealthy, Healthy, and On Purpose. Please subscribe to Wealthy, Healthy, and On Purpose as a group, and subscribe to Unstoppable Tracy. And if you loved this episode, be sure to visit YouTube to find other Wealthy, Healthy, On Purpose YouTube episodes. Take care, everyone.